lately in terms of just been trying to get group activities going over online, are you?
Yeah, yes. Every morning, we run a little challenge thing, set up Zoom chat, and then we watch a few rowing videos. Watched one of yours this morning actually from
Okay.
Athens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Might be a bit grainy, the footage, is it? It's pretty old.
yeah, a little grainy.
Yeah.
Probably how your legs were feeling towards the end there, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. Yeah, run challenges, have a bit of a point system.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, what have you been up to?
Still working. Work hasn't really changed for us. So, well, I'm at the airport. There's not many planes flying, but we still have to be there at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know if they're going to cut numbers down at the fire station, but yeah, got plenty of leave, so we might just take leave to
Yeah,
keep things rolling over.
good opportunity to get back on the bike then.
Oh yeah, I ride to work every day, so it's about a 70k commute. So
Just
yeah,
a lazy 70 to work.
yeah. So I get about 300k's a week just in commuting, and then I try and do a couple of long rides as well.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. So I'm
yeah.
going to give you a little intro because a few of the guys might not know who you are.
Okay. Yeah.
So for the Swannies guys, I'm joined here today by Ben Cureton. You may recognise the name from the bow of our men's aid. Curo is a 8-time national champion, a world champion, and a 3-time Olympian and he's competed at Athens, Beijing, and London, winning a silver medal at the Athens Olympics and was crowned world champion in 2011 in the lightweight 4 in Bled, Slovenia. Have I missed anything?
Oh, he's not a bad bloke either, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he does all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks again for joining us today. Tell us about how you got into rowing.
It was fairly sort of, it was nothing special. I went to Trinity College, obviously, in the city in Perth, and I started. I think I started the school in year 4, but I didn't even know they had a rowing program until I got to year 10. It's at one end of the school. You'd never see it if you didn't go down there. So
Yeah.
And then I remember seeing kids eating breakfast one morning, walking around school, and I was like, where do you get this food from? Because I was already training a lot, doing triathlon and stuff like that. They said, if you join the rowing program, you get free breakfast every morning. So I was down there the next day, trying to sign up.
You were born to be a lightweight, man.
Yeah. Actually, when I first joined, I can't remember year 10, I was probably about 55 kilos. So I ended up coxing for a few weeks, and then I had to go down in my own time to use the single sculls after school with a few of the year 12s who were volunteered to help kids learn to scull. So it took me a few weeks before I could convince them to let me row instead of cox, because that's not really my thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have a few kids in a similar situation to that. Would you be able to, do you have any advice for any guys in a similar position, like maybe on like the smaller end, who are coming out of the school system into the club and are looking to sort of take that next step? Do you have any advice for them?
I think the big thing is probably not to try and rush it. You don't have to, whether or not they're on the light end of being a lightweight or light in terms of being heavyweight. It's probably more important to develop the aerobic side of things and the technical side of things before you focus on, am I going to be big enough to do this? Or, the first few years I was a lightweight, I was still 65 kilos. It's good for your pair partner, but because you can guarantee a few years into your rowing, you're going to be, you're going to be heavier than you thought you'd ever be, and then you're at the other end of it trying to lose weight. So it's also good for not having to lose weight while you're training, for those guys who are on a bit of the light side. Being able to train properly and eat properly as a lightweight is pretty important, and it gets pretty hard when you train at 76, 77 kilos and then you're trying to get down to race. So
yeah, can relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, cheers. That's awesome. So you're obviously part of Swannies during quite a dominant era. What was it like being a part of the club then?
When I first joined, like straight out of school, obviously George was a bit of a mentor. He was our first eight coach in year 11, and his good friend Werner was our coach in year 12. So had a good introduction to the club early on, and all the sort of guys in their mid 20s, late 20s at the time, getting involved with all of them, and they were really welcoming. So it was a really good atmosphere being a young rower, and George had a lot of kids coming from different schools, so there was a really strong program. And I think that base was, that was a really good, will help, WA rowing develop heaps of, good rowers to go to world champs and eventually Olympics, from 2000 to 2004. Obviously with the help of Antonio, he did a lot in that period, but, from having one or two people making the Olympics to, 10 people almost making the Olympics, and a lot from Swannies. Being a part of that era at Swannies was awesome. Even in 2005, we had a few Italians there, but the whole King's Cup being from Swannies, more or less, it was pretty good.
Yeah, we've so for guys that are new to Swannies, like Cure's been very successful in like the Penrith Cup 4, which is all the photos that we have framed upstairs at Swannies. And you even won the King's Cup one year, which is the year you're talking about.
Yeah, I was just sort of tied on myself, lucky enough to get a seat in the bow pair with all the sort of developing young heavyweights. And obviously, we had the Italian guys training here that year through Antonio. And I think Antonio had a lot of respect for the Lighty guys. So, in most states, the Lighty guys would never get a look into the King's Cup. But, if you've got guys pulling 6'10", sub 6'10" on the ergo, and, that's 70 kilos. It's like throwing the coxswain out of the boat, it's big advantage. So I was pretty lucky that he gave us that chance, and got up and won.
Yeah. Well, George is still kicking around, and he's still motivating and inspiring. And as a club, we were lucky to have Antonio a few years back. So he had a huge impact. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his. People like that are rare. There's good coaches, and then there's people who they got a bit of an aura about them. They demand respect, and you're almost scared not to disappoint them.
Oh yeah, so we'd heard all your stories about this Italian guy coming in. So and he's just sitting there speaking. He didn't have to say a word, and we were terrified.
Yeah, and you sort of get to a point that, when you're young, obviously you have to listen, and we had some pretty fiery arguments over the time, but there's always a mutual respect there when he knows he's got good athletes, and he's a good coach, and he's been there and done it all. He's raced at heaps of world champs, Olympics, and coached just about everyone. It gets, obviously, between athletes and coaches like that, it gets heated because he's a pretty passionate guy. But he played a massive role in developing WA rowing through those early years.
Yeah, he was awesome. And I read through questions. So you had a few. You've had a very successful international career. Would you be able to? Do you have a particular highlight from international racing?
Obviously, winning world championships that's something that was it's pretty awesome. And I'd always won heaps of medals at World Cups, and struggled a bit at World Championships. We never really had great campaigns at World Championships. Always seemed to be something wrong. Someone's injured, someone's sick. More or less, the only times that nothing was wrong, then we either won a medal in Athens or the World Champs in Bled, which apart from the Olympics, that was probably a highlight. Also because the Lighty 8 got up and won a gold medal as well. Because we had such a big squad training in Tasmania. And also the Lighty guys had been trying to win that race for, I can't remember when, it was like 1980 or something like that was the last time they'd won, and Anthony Edwards had raced in the race like 20 times and never got up and won. So that was a pretty good year.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So that was actually my first year at Swans. So we got everyone together. We stuck it up on the projector. That was
Yep.
probably actually the first rowing race I've watched actually.
Yep.
And I was like, so looking for inspiration, we didn't have to look that far. I've actually got the last 500 meter here. If I can work out how to get there. There we go. Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There we go. So
this is really all about.
So tell us what you're thinking right about here.
If the Danes maintain
I mean,
the leading duo.
We had a really good first 1,000 in the race, and I think the third 5, just to be able to get a length up or so. I think when you have that kind of race, it more or less almost feels like they're one of the easiest races you've ever done. And when you're in control at the front, just absolutely stomping it in the last 500 meters. And I think we did like a 126 in the last 500. Yeah, it almost felt easy because you feel like you're in control and you're not panicking, and you almost know, as long as you don't stuff it up, that they're not going to catch you.
Yeah, so we're all sitting upstairs like the new guys straight out of school, and we're just like, well, looks like we've come to the right place.
Yeah, and it was an interesting race too. I think the first 300s were all 130. Which is a bit unusual in a lightweight rowing race, but I had a few coaches come and speak to me afterwards, saying that that's a really interesting way to row a race, and almost even split the whole way, and then obviously whatever you've got in the last 500. But it was a bit of a strange race in a way for us, but we had a pretty bad lead up into the. We went through a repechage in that regatta, so I think we came third in our heat. So some pretty big changes made after that.
Yeah.
More just mentality than anything, but yeah.
Yeah, just so relaxed. Like, it was this was our coach at the time. Antonio showed us this all the time. He's just he's like, Kiro, Skippy, why you not do?
Yeah.
Holding on to that. It's Great Britain still holding on to bronze. China's coming back. It might not be a medal time for Escalation. He's in 4th position. The canvas down on the British. Australia winning the gold.
The biggest problem we had always as a lot of the Australian crews, we never really started very fast. And after our heat in this regatta, we sat down and had a coffee with the guide and said, you just have to drill it out of the start, not be scared about consequences of because everyone's doing it. If you're trying to conserve yourself for the middle 1,000 or a finish, you're so far out of the mix, you never get back. So taking that lot more aggressive route at the start of the race, because we always had the fastest middle 1,000, but attacking that first 500 and still having the same middle 1,000 just put us in such a good spot to relax in that last 500 meters.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it was such a good race to watch.
For guys who haven't seen as well, the Lighty 8 race in that regatta was awesome as well.
Yeah, we're sure to get Brownie on this next.
Yeah.
So we were just like, so at that time, so Curo won the Lighty 4 along with Todd Skipworth, who was also a member of Swans at the time. And then Brownie also won the Lighty men's 8. That was actually a really close one.
Yeah. It was just it was a good time for Lighty rowing. They had such a big program, and yeah, that
was awesome. So how you keeping yourself active now? I saw a few
I've tried a few different things since I finished rowing. I did triathlon for a while, and sort of tried to get into it. I got sick for quite a while I had an autoimmune problem with my thyroid. So I had a couple of years doing nothing. Then I tried ultra running for a while. I do like it, but it's a bit hard on the body and the knees and stuff. So the last few years I've just been pretty much focusing on cycling, and like most of the guys rowing, they love getting out on the bike and doing a lap of the river and stuff. And I always enjoyed that. So I just sort of taken it a step further now, and I'm actually doing a bit of racing this year with a team in Victoria, so
pretty cool.
A bit one of the older guys getting around, but
experienced.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah, quite a lot of the guys now are forced out of the shed. Are doing quite a lot of riding.
Yeah, I guess it's one of the only things we can do outside at the moment. So
yeah, River Loop's getting pretty worn out.
yeah.
That's cool though. So for any of our under 23, we got quite a lot of under 23 guys at the moment who are looking to, or either in the last year of under 23, looking to break into seniors. What was that jump like for you between under 23s and seniors?
It was a little bit different for me because obviously I rode a junior quad, and then pretty much as soon as I got back, Glenn Loftus he was sort of edging towards making the Olympic team in Sydney, but I was still only 18. But he asked they asked if we could row a pair together. So I pretty much went straight from juniors to A Lighties. And I think, the first year we rode a Lighty 8 at the non-Olympic World Champs. So I never really got a chance to row against the under 23 guys or at the under 23 regattas. But obviously a lot of the guys I was training with were Dave McGowan and Luke Pritchard, and I think Steph Sharofsky did a year in under 23s, and Luke Puno, all Swannies guys. And I guess from their point of view, it was also at the time when Antonio just joined. So it was all about consistency for them, making the step into under 23s, and then, some of the guys just on the cusp. Some guys it takes a few years, some guys would step up straight away. And it doesn't really have an effect on the end result. Like guys who jump in straight away into under 23s or seniors doesn't necessarily mean in a couple of years' time, they're a better chance of making the Olympics. It's just some guys develop quicker. So the key is for guys who are just on the cusp, whether it's under 23s or seniors, it's just about putting a few consistent seasons together, avoiding getting injured. And it's a hard thing to do when you think, about training for 3 years to make a team, a senior team at the end of that point. But you have to be pretty narrow-minded and focused on that kind of thing, and just be consistent. That's the main thing, just consistently training.
Yeah, awesome. Cheers. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So I'm guessing the under 23s didn't get a chance to go to selection this year, did they?
No, not this year. I think that's been cancelled at the moment.
Yeah, so it all just happened just before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for those guys who, it's another opportunity to get a train, but for some, I guess it's, if they might have been their last year of under 23s, and it's, it's a good opportunity to step up to seniors. And I mean, obviously making the Olympic team's a tough gig, but it's also a great opportunity post that Olympic year to crack into the team and then try and hold on for the next Olympics.
Yeah. Well, cheers for that. That's a great insight.
Yeah, it's always if you can time your guys who have timed their entry into the senior team like post an Olympic year, it's always a good time because there's a little bit of a lull and people taking time off, and just because good athletes have had a year off doesn't necessarily mean they're going to come straight back in the team, because it really, like when you have a year off, it really, unless you're still training pretty hard, it really affects your performance long term.
Yeah. So do you recommend like a bit of a break, like in between heavy stints of training?
Yeah, I do. I never necessarily had a break from training. Like I probably went 15 years with, I can't remember having more than a week off where I wasn't really training. And that just depends. I mean, some people need a mental break, but a break from rowing training for me was, riding the bike every day, or going running and beach runs and stuff like that. So, especially when you're young and your body can take that kind of punishment, I think it's important to, if your body can handle it, then to, not get too wrapped up in periodizing your training and doing all this sort of stuff. Obviously, it's important when you're racing to periodize and stuff, but in terms of break after a season, I think when you're young, it's important to just keep pushing through and almost think of it as a head start on the next season, because some guys will do nothing for 6 weeks and you just see how hard it is when they're trying to get back in.
They're the ones you love racing against.
Yeah. They're sweating 7 kilos in the week before for a regatta.
Yeah.
That was me at the end of my career, but
yeah, that was me in my last nationals.
Yeah. You think that 2 kilos I can do that, and then the next year it's like, no, I might as well do 3, and then the next year,
It gets out of hand.
Yeah, what's 5 kilos?
Yeah, much happier racing heavy now.
Yeah.
Racing training as well.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for having a chat with us today, man.
No, it's no problem. Yeah,
that was really good.
I look forward to obviously when we're allowed to fly again. I'll probably look forward to getting back to Perth and hopefully see if I can get out in a few Swannies cruise.
Yeah, mate. Whenever States happens and we can go for this 20th, like, shall I pencil you in?
Oh, you can, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
they're all seeing this, so
yeah.
we'll get you to sign something.
I'll probably have to do a sub 620 ergo or something, would I? Or...
You'd be pretty close now, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the ergo every couple of days, so yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
I'll keep in touch with it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, mate.
All right, mate. Thanks, guys. Good luck, guys.